Welcome to our first session of February. This month, we will be exploring the topic of discipleship, and we will discuss how all are offered the invitation to follow Jesus and are given the opportunity to decide whether or not to make him their leader and teacher. We will conclude the month by growing in our understanding of what disciples are called to do and how they live day to day as followers of Jesus Christ. Before we dive into our theme for this session, the invitation of Jesus, let's first understand the word disciple. The word disciple was the most common name for the followers of Jesus Christ in the early church and is used more than 245 times in the four Gospels and the book of Acts. A disciple of Jesus is someone who has decided to follow him daily and encourages others to do the same. Following him means that they are continually seeking to learn from his example and strive to change their nature so that they can reflect the majesty of their teacher to the world. Discipleship isn't a short-term program. It's a lifelong journey that is filled with ups and downs and challenges, but brings great reward. During the sessions this month, we will be referring to Jesus' calling of Andrew and Peter to follow him. We find the first encounter of these two apostles with Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew. And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. Then he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." They immediately left their nets and followed him. So we see here that the journey of discipleship for these two fishermen began with a simple invitation: follow me. The Bible doesn't provide us with a background story of Peter and Andrew outside of their relationship and their occupation. We aren't given much of an indication as to why they would immediately change the course of their lives to accept the invitation of a stranger. But they put down their nets, they put down their lives, and set out on a new life offered to them by Jesus. Just imagine this. They left their nets and followed him. They immediately answered his call. We learn from their experience that this invitation that Jesus offers to be his disciple isn't so simple, because in order to accept the invitation, one has to be willing to let go of their life and let Jesus become their life. That's what Peter and Andrew were saying when they put down their nets. The invitation that Jesus presented to them was a call to turn away from all they had known, all that they had been trained to do. It was a call to leave behind the past and embrace a future with Jesus. They weren't given much insight into what that future would hold, but still they were inspired enough to let go of the control they had on their lives to become something new. How incredibly blessed were these two men and the other disciples who heard the same call. They were invited to walk with, talk to, and learn from Jesus on a daily basis. Do you want to know something? We are all incredibly blessed because Jesus' invitation to follow him has been offered to all of us. At some point in our lives, we also heard the call of Jesus Christ. The very same invitation offered to these two fishermen is ours to accept if we are so willing. But just as Peter and Andrew had to be willing to drop their nets and let go of their lives, we also have to be willing to do the same, and that isn't often easy. We'll get into making the decision to follow Jesus more in our next session. But to close our time together today, let us focus on what we are being invited to. First, we are being invited by the Son of God to be his followers so that he can be our teacher. So many seek to learn from the best teachers in their fields or read from the best sources of knowledge to grow in their understanding. We are invited to learn from the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Messiah, our Savior, the only begotten Son of God. We're invited to learn from the Master. Second, this invitation is a calling to embrace the person you were made to be by God. He has called us all to do great things in His name, and we do that by accepting His invitation to leave behind the old and become new. And third, it's a personal invitation from the one who has always existed to live eternally with Him. This isn't just an invitation for a few weeks or years. It's an invitation to eternal glory with Him. There is always time to accept the invitation of Jesus to follow. And as the Gospels tell us time and time again, Jesus did not withhold the invitation from anyone. It was offered to all. Yet, only a small number accepted it and experienced its life-changing impact. The invitation has been offered to you and to me. Have we accepted it? Have we let go of our past in order to embrace a future with Him? Does our life reflect the impact the teacher has had on us each day? Please now turn to your guides to discuss these questions and more.